Right now at noon, big storms in the east and Midwest, so more than 6,300 flights since Saturday.
And we're live at Arvest Bank on East 32nd Street for the Great American Flag Swap. We have run out of flags. We'll have more on this great event, though, and talk about the dangerous heat on the way coming up.
And we take a look at a project that's making waves in the UK, heating pools with computers.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A grand jury hands down a federal indictment following a May traffic stop in Jasper County, where a state trooper found 80 pounds of methamphetamine. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, court documents show how the defendant became a witness against himself during a personal phone call he made while sitting in the trooper's patrol car. On May 28th, a Missouri Highway Patrol trooper stopped 26-year-old Devian Boykin near the Sarcoxie exit on I-44. The Pennsylvania man was driving a vehicle that had been rented to another person, and he did not have a driver's license. The trooper says Boykin was nervous and sweating. And the officer found 80 one-pound bags of meth in a shopping bag and a suitcase in the SUV. He also found a loaded gun. During the search, the trooper had placed Boykin in the front seat of his patrol car, and dash cam video shows Boykin talking to 2 females on the phone. He told them the trooper had found all the meth and the gun. The trooper discovered the incriminating video the next day. Well, a quick note for Evergy Electric customers in northern Crawford County. There will be a planned power outage starting tonight at 10 p.m. It's expected to last until 6 a.m. Thursday morning. Now, crews will be repairing the Evergy substation in Mulberry that went out Monday night. Affected areas include Radley, Ringo, Franklin, Arma, Croburg, Barber, and Gross. Well, the Great American Flag Swap continues today. We sent KOAM's Chris Warner to Arvest Bank in Joplin, where earlier today you could trade in your worn and tattered flag for a new one. Chris?
Yeah, that's right. Earlier today, you could turn them in, but because the response was so fantastic, we've actually run out of flags. But don't worry, we have another one of these coming up in Miami, and you'll be able to find all of the information on the next stop at KOAMnewsnow.com/flag. Even though we've run out, we've still had some folks that brought some in just to ensure they're properly retired. And we've been partnering with Arvest Bank. Seth McConnell joining us. And Seth, tell me real quick, just what is it that makes it so important to ensure that these flags are retired properly?
This is just a great service, and a lot of people don't know what to do with their flags when they need to be retired, and they don't know where they can take them so those flags can see the honor and the respect they deserve. So it's just great for you guys to come in here and partner with us so we can host and have people bring their flags in so they can be taken and shown the honor they deserve in the end.
And what makes it so important what made this more important for Arvest to participate in to ensure these flags are properly retired?
Arvest loves to support the community. We especially love to support our veterans, and we just want to make sure that everyone who has that love for the flag has an event where they can come and get a new one before we ran out, obviously, but to have a place to take their old ones.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that response today. I mean, we ran out very quickly out here. I mean, what does that tell you, too, about the community's interest in preserving these flags, making sure they're properly retired, and getting a new one?
It just shows we have a lot of people with a lot of love for our country, our flag, and our military in this community. And it was a great turnout. It was amazing to see all these people coming in for this event. I wish we had more, but we still got people coming by. We would love to say hi to you and still offer you a place to turn in your flag.
All right, Seth, thank you so much for joining us today. So again, unfortunately, we did run out of the flags, but in that same regard, that's fantastic in terms of the community response to this event, even on such a hot day. And we do have alert days that are in effect starting today through Friday, and they are for dangerous heat across the area. We're talking temperatures going into the lower 100s. We are talking heat index values pushing about 110, and that is just the beginning of this excessive heat across the area. So here's a live look at the MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline. We are getting more sunshine out there, but we still have the mostly cloudy skies on top of that. Despite the clouds, it is staying very muggy, very hot out here. And we can take a live look at the KDOT camera at US 69 and South 120th, just south of Pittsburgh, Kansas. And tell you what, we're going to skip that. Let's look at the radar. We still have some showers in our northern counties. You see some rain activity a little further to the south. None of that is actually happening, but that rain to the north still up there. However, even with the rain, that's not stopping the temperatures. So we want to talk about the heat advisories real quick. Just remind you that for Bourbon, Crawford, and Cherokee counties in southeast Kansas and for southwest Missouri, these will go until Friday at 7 o'clock. And then for the rest of southeast Kansas and into northeast Oklahoma, that's going to be in effect until 9 tonight. But again, would not be surprised if these go back into effect tomorrow simply because it's so hot out there. We're going to have more on those hot temperatures and whether or not we're going to get a break and talk about the 4th of July forecast here in just a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, you do your best to stay cool, Chris. We'll see you in a few. Well, there's no end in sight for the travel chaos affecting tens of thousands of Americans. Just as Americans are ramping up for 4th of July vacation, severe weather has thrown the airline industry into chaos. More than 6,000 flights have been canceled since this weekend's storms, with an entire new round of delays today. Making matters worse are the emergency repairs at a federal aviation facility along with staff shortages. TSA expects Friday to be a potentially record-breaking day at airport checkpoints. Well, the city of Joplin opens its cooling centers as the heat index rises to dangerous levels. The Joplin Athletic Center, City Hall, the Health Department, and Public Safety Center will be open from 8 to 5 p.m. However, guidelines must be followed, such as staying within designated areas and respecting other space. Officials say it's important to stay hydrated, dress appropriately, and minimize direct sun exposure during heat waves. And don't forget your pets. Make sure they have access to shade and cool water as well. Well, just when you want to crank up that AC, the Carthage City Council votes to increase electric rates by an average of $18 per month. But it was apparently a different utility issue that drew more than 250 people to Tuesday's council meeting. The council decided to stick with a previous decision to remove the appointed members of the Carthage Water and Electric Board. The council had originally made the decision earlier this month after saying board members were not fulfilling their duties. And when the crowd was asked how many people wanted the board to stay, an overwhelming majority raised their hands. Still, the council voted 6-4 to stand by its decision. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at Noon, utility costs are not just rising in the 4 states. How community pools in the UK are beating their heating bills with computer technology. And later, we're making a taco potato salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Generally, you want to keep computers far away from a swimming pool, but a pilot project in the UK is turning that wisdom on its head, using the heat from high-powered computer banks to keep the water warm. Riley Carlson explains.
Swimming laps is always more enjoyable when the pool isn't frigid, but warming the water comes at a cost, especially these days.
We have been hit quite hard by that rising cost of gas through the winter.
At its peak, he says it tripled. So to save, this recreation center signed on to an innovative project with an unusual request: storing computers on site.
That is computers in oil.
The entire data bank sits in a mineral oil that captures excess heat.
Well, the computers heat the oil up. The oil then flows through that pipe over to the other side of the plant room. It flows into a heat exchanger, and in that heat exchanger, the hot oil meets the cold water from the pool.
The engineering has generated enough heat over the past 3 months to keep the pool water warm 65% of the time, reducing the center's reliance on gas boilers.
But hopefully next winter, a very large proportion of our heating costs will come through the deep green technology, which is effectively free heating to us as the operator.
Projections earlier this year warned Britain could lose half of its community swimming pools because of skyrocketing heating costs.
So we're doing some social good, right? We're heating a swimming pool and helping swimming pools to stay open.
And the project's success is making waves, with hopes for expansion to other sites across Europe. Riley Carlson, CBS News, London.
Bornsgaard says 50% of the cost of running a data center is keeping the computers cool, a cost that is also eliminated inside this system. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
We've got a dish that'll make your 4th of July bash the talk of the town. So don't you go anywhere.
But first, we've got another check of that dangerous heat. We have alert days through Friday. We're going to talk about that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. We're live at Arvest Bank on East 32nd Street for the Great American Flag Swap. Now, unfortunately, we ran out of flags within about a half hour or so, but that is because the community response to this event was just so fantastic. Now, if you still have an old flag that you'd like to retire or make sure that it is properly retired, you can still bring it by here. We are going to be here for a little longer. And if you can't make it to this, don't worry, we're going to be in Miami for the next one of these, and you can find out more information at koamnewsnow.com/flag. One thing though that we're not out of is heat. We've got alert days that go from now until Friday, and that is for that excessive heat. And we're talking highs pushing into the lower 100s and heat index values easily reaching up to 110 degrees out there. So that's going to make this heat dangerous. It's already very muggy, very humid out here. So you want to make sure that you are taking appropriate precautions, make sure that you are staying out of the heat as best as you can, and make sure you're staying hydrated. Skywatch Storm Tracker shows these showers. The rain really only falling in our northern counties. The rest of that is not actually hitting the ground, and we can see the track on this rain where it's just kind of been back building over itself for the last, last few hours. Thankfully, the severe threat is gone. Here we have Bourbon, Cherokee, Crawford counties in southeast Kansas, and then all of southwest Missouri. Heat advisories through Friday at 7. For the rest of southeast Kansas and into northeast Oklahoma, these heat advisories run until Thursday at 9. Okay, I was right. I knew they'd end up getting extended, and they certainly did. All right, live look at the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line. You can see we're getting some sunshine out here. Otherwise, still got what we would consider mostly cloudy skies, but even with those mostly cloudy skies, it's still hot. We got the same view there from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh camera. Our camera, 7th and Range Line, showing those mostly cloudy skies. Still hot. Look at this. 88 degrees, but it feels like 95. And we are getting at least a decent breeze, south at 15, gusting to 25. But look at that dew point up there at 72. And we check in with Pittsburgh, and it's the same situation. The temperature is only 86, but it feels like it's 92. That graphic doesn't like that background, but that's all right. You can still see that information. Temperatures around the region look about like this. 86 Miami, 87 Chatopa, 87 Chanute, 89 Parsons, 88 Lamar and Carthage, and 86 in Neosho. And then we take a look at the dew points, and this is what we're talking about, and this is what's making it feel so miserable out there, is these dew points are in the lower to mid and almost even upper 70s across the area, and that easily puts us in that muggy to soupy range across the area, and that makes the outdoor feeling just absolutely awful out there. All right, let's take a look at what we've got coming in with those feels like temperatures. You can see heat index values already mid to upper 90s for most of us out there. And in terms of the 4th of July, well, the rest of today, I'm going to tell everybody at home the honest truth. We've had some technical glitches here in the field. So we're looking at highs 99 today, some of us the lower 100s. And then as we go into this evening, the evening is still going to be hot as well. And our UV index is still high also, sitting at a 10, very high. Your burn time 20 minutes. Make sure that you're taking the appropriate precautions out there. And with the heat, make sure you're staying hydrated. In the evening, still hot out there. We're looking at lows 75 degrees, so a very mild evening. And a quick check of the 7-day forecast for you. We've got temperatures getting into the lower 100s as we push into Thursday, Friday. Heat index values pushing upwards of 105 to 110. A little relief this weekend with some pop-up storms. And then 4th of July, we have the possibility of a stray pop-up storm or two. But the good news is these are going to be very isolated to scattered, so don't cancel your plans. Go ahead and do your 4th of July, but also bear in mind as we kick off next week, temperatures return back to the mid to upper 90s. So some dangerous heat out there across the area, and it's something that you want to make sure you're taking seriously and that you're taking appropriate precautions. In fact, out here, We got water bottles, and even this is starting to warm up pretty quickly. Tanya?
Yep, H2O, and don't forget about your pets too. Thank you, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making taco potato salad after the break. Well, today we're getting a new take on an old summer classic. Howard shows us how to make a taco potato salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Can you believe that the 4th of July is right around the corner? For many of us, that means getting together with family and friends for a cookout. My guess is that you'll be grilling the all-American combo of hot dogs and hamburgers. But if you want to kick things up a bit, how about adding a new potato salad to your spread? It's got a Tex-Mex twist, and it's so easy. We start by boiling about 3 pounds of white potatoes until they're fork tender. Once they are, we drain them really well before cutting them into chunks. At this point, we combine some mayo with an envelope of taco seasoning and stir it until it's well mixed. This gets added to our chunked up potatoes, along with some shredded cheddar cheese, sliced scallions, a can of black sliced olives that we've drained really well. And are you ready for this? Lots of coarsely crushed ranch flavored tortilla chips. Once everything is mixed and the potato salad is chilled, it's ready to serve. It's one of those dishes that makes everyone want to go back for seconds. We're not sure if it's the zesty Tex-Mex dressing, the rich tasting cheddar, or the surprising crunch of the tortilla chips that keeps everyone coming back. But we're not complaining. To get the recipe for our taco potato salad, simply visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a taco twisted way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Might have to give that a try. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
We are live at the Great American Flag Swap here at Arvest Bank on East 32nd Street. Again, we unfortunately ran out of flags, but we'll be here for a few more minutes if you have one you'd like to have retired. Otherwise, go to KOAMnewsnow.com/flag to find out more information on our next event in Miami. In between now and then, alert days now until Friday for excessive heat. And we're talking temperatures low 100s, heat index values up to 110. And then as we look into the weekend, a little relief, pop-up storms most of next week. Temperatures return in the mid to upper 90s out there. 4th of July, maybe a shower or two. Do not cancel your plans, but be prepared for a stray rain shower or two out there. And also be prepared for the heat. Make sure you're taking appropriate precautions. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. And you better get inside out of that heat as quickly as possible. Well, coming up tonight at 5, preventing serious infections in the hospital, and Health Watch, new MRSA recommendations designed to protect patients. Plus, door-to-door sales still exist, but with the proper documentation. Joplin Police Department has tips for those selling and buying, and officials closed Joplin's downtown to make room for the world's premier oldest car rally. Join us for those stories and much more tonight on the KOAM News at 5. And thank you for joining us for KOAM News at noon. The rest of the team will see you right back here at 5 o'clock.